What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of World's Finest, brought to you by the Comic Collectors Guild. I'm your host. You guys know me as the Superman. My name is Jake, and joining me, as always, is the Bat himself. Lee Lawson is in the house. Lee, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great, man. As always, super pumped to be here talking about what else? We're going to talk about 10 Marvel heroes to check out today. Very excited about it. We thought it was only fair if we're going to do that for DC, we got to do it for Marvel as well. You know?
Absolutely. So if you checked out our episode last week, we broke down 10 DC heroes that are a little bit underrated or not used too much that we thought you guys should check out. We are doing that for the Marvel side today. So these are 10 Marvel heroes that haven't quite had their moment in the sun just yet, but we definitely think they are worthy of checking out. This was really, really fun to dive deep into the world of Marvel and find these 10 characters. Some of them do have their moment coming, but we thought they were still worthy of being on the list, and then some others that you guys should definitely check out. So definitely looking forward to this. And before we get started, we just like to say, please check that subscribe button and leave a comment if you're interested in liking our content. We're always open to new suggestions. And we have some awesome swag also dropping on TeePublic. So check out the swag, whether it's mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, really, really cool stuff. So check that out. But with that being said, let's just dive into the list real quick. I'm going to start out with our number 10 hero in no particular order, but our number 10 hero, this is Nova. This guy appeared in The Man Called Nova #1 in 1975. He is from the Nova Corps, which is very similar to Captain Marvel, as you guys know. Basically, he is a member of the Intergalactic Police Force. They're known as the Nova Corps, and he has superhuman abilities, which include enhanced strength, speed, flight, resistance to injury. Basically, his uniform gives him all these powers and gives him access to what's called the Nova Force. Again, it gives you all that enhanced ability, as well as energy balls, strength, flight, speed, very similar to Captain Marvel. His backstory, which is really interesting, he was kind of a less popular guy when he was growing up as a kid. He was bullied very much in high school, and there's a character called Nova Prime. Nova Prime basically had his world of Xandar destroyed, and in that process was critically injured. He sent out this beam that out to get help, and basically the beam hit Richard Ryder, who is Nova, and basically gave him the power and the mantle of Nova. Basically, he is a very, very strong character, stronger than Captain Marvel even in the comics. Actually, according to Marvel, Nova is more powerful than Captain Marvel. So very, very enhanced character, and a really cool story. If you're into like Green Lantern, that intergalactic space battles, things like that, Nova is definitely a character that I would check out. And a really cool kind of fun fact of a character you do know is the Nova Corps that I'm speaking of, the police force, was once completely wiped out in the comics by none other than Nebula. So Nebula has definitely gone toe-to-toe. So we got some Guardians crossover. So if you're interested in those characters, Nova is definitely your guy. And he comes in at the number 10 spot.
Yeah, dude. Nova, you hit the nail on the head when you said that you mentioned Green Lantern. To me, the Nova Corps is very reminiscent of the Green Lantern Corps. The space cop version in Marvel, as same as in Green Lantern or in DC. And it was also very cool. We got to see them in live action, not Nova per se, but the Nova Corps in Guardians of the Galaxy, led by one Glenn Close, who I really did never picture Glenn Close being the supreme leader of the Nova Corps, but hey, it worked for the movie, right? No, so very cool, man. Very cool. I like that character. So for me, the number 9 character is ShangChi. This character has probably got one of the most convoluted backstories in history. I'll just put it out there right now. I really do think so. ShangChi was first appearance was in July 19th, 2000, and ShangChi #1. But in comic book lore, ShangChi actually goes back further than that. He was actually one of the first heroes in Marvel history, one of the first heroes out there, right, that made his appearance actually right before the Fantastic Four. He was a really prominent hero. Spider-Man looked up to him. He worked with the X-Men. He was, one of the most popular heroes in the Marvel universe. in comic book lore. So when we see him and his first appearance on July 19th, 2000, that's the first time the public's seeing him. But again, he had been wiped out. Reason people weren't aware of him, because in the comic books, he'd been wiped out of existence. He had been wiped out of existence. Everyone forgot about him. And so I'll just jump right into it and kind of give you a little explanation. He was, like I said, he burst onto the scene. He was an ally to pretty much all the heroes out there, Hulk to the X-Men. He was living quite the charmed life as a hero until the Void showed up. Void was like an evil entity, had the ability to exploit everybody's worst fears. The Void murdered over about 1 million people in New York, I believe. And once that happened, again, this is like his main nemesis. Once that happened, he discovered that the Void was basically his split personality. It was like a dark aspect of his own powers. So in order to get rid of the Void, ShangChi asked old Reed Richards and Doctor Strange to put something in place that made the entire population of Earth, as well as themselves, forget all about him. So again, that's why, in all these classic tales, that we're reading in present day, as reading them, you don't really hear of the ShangChi because, again, been wiped out of existence, not around. But it was kind of cool when they incorporated him back in to history, into the Marvel history. There was all these cool little flashbacks of things that he had been in, showing characters in their classic costumes and things like that, with the ShangChi being right there side by side with them. But yeah, this guy is really crazy powerful. He's almost like the DC or the Marvel version of Superman. He's gone toe to toe with the Hulk a lot of times. Basically even come out on top. He's got like I said, the version of Superman, but he's got powers of mental and time manipulation. He's got the superhuman speed, strength, and stamina, fast healing, telepathy, invisibility, flight, weather manipulation, all of that, right? And his powers actually are derived from the super soldier serum that gave Captain America his powers. So the serum was designed to be like 100,000 times more powerful than what they gave to Cap. And it was actually modified by Weapon X. So again, he's been known to beat the Hulk and also fought Galactus to a stalemate. So this is one of the most insanely powerful characters in the Marvel universe.
That is awesome.
Yeah. That's why I chose him as number 9, man. It was actually really cool to do research on this guy because I didn't know a lot about him myself. But he's definitely one of the more fascinating characters out there.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I don't know too much about him, but if he can go toe to toe with Hulk and especially Galactus, you're messing with a really powerful character. And it's crazy. He kind of like self-snapping himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. It's cool. And it's funny you bring up Captain America because our next person on this list, number 8, is the most powerful captain in all of Marvel, and I'm not talking about Mr. Rogers. I'm talking about Captain Britain, Brian Braddock, who made his appearance in 1976, Captain Britain number 1. A really cool kind of backstory on him. So obviously Captain America, one of the most popular Marvel heroes in history. It was doing fantastic in the 70s with their run, but they really wanted to grow their international market. So instead of creating a new hero, they're like, let's take Captain America and make him British. So the UK sales actually go up. So that's what they did. They actually did almost the exact same backstory with Captain America. They called him Captain Britain to raise comic sales in the UK. Basically a little bit different. Basically, the classic wizard Merlin offered him a amulet to give him the power of Captain Britain. So he's 1-to-1 on a backstory kind of to Captain America, but he's 1-to-1 to Captain Marvel in as far as his powers. He has super strength, speed, endurance, durability. He can exact force fields, energy beams. He can fly. So they literally took Captain Marvel's powers, Captain America's backstory, made Captain Britain. He has been on teams such as the Secret Avengers, New Excalibur. He's even been in the Illuminati. He has teamed up with Spider-Man quite a bit in the comics, and there was a run where the Avengers had to go overseas, and in the UK, they were in London, and Captain Britain joined the force. So really cool character. If you're into Captain America or Captain Marvel, this is basically the best of both worlds here. He's a really cool character, a little bit darker than Captain America, but really, really cool, actually. He's got a cool look to him, and like I said, he stems from like Merlin and Merlin's daughter. Basically, when they gave him his amulet, he had gotten in a car accident. It was like kind of near death when Merlin appeared, and he gave him the option of a sword which I assume is like King Arthur's sword to give him those powers, or this amulet to become Captain Britain, and he chose the amulet. So really cool character. He's a little less known, but for our international fans, there you go, Captain Britain. He is number 8.
Dude, I like that character. I actually came across him, for a while there, and really still to this day. There was so many X offshoots, X-Men, X Factor. So Excalibur, I think you just mentioned them. Yeah. He was I read him in Excalibur #1, and that's when they were kind of establishing that team over there and stuff like that. And I think it had Nightcrawler in it and a couple other US based, to kind of to migrate everybody together and to get people's attention. So yeah, I thought that was a great book. He's also Psylocke's brother.
Yes.
If I'm not, yeah. Did you mention that too? I'm so sorry.
I did not. No, but
Psylocke's brother too, man. So yeah, very cool character. And to your point, he's been floating around there in the edges, but definitely needs more. He needs his moment to shine.
I think he would be a good person to bring in. You know what I mean? Even if it's like a cameo. I mean, with Psylocke, who knows? Maybe even in the X-Men, bring him in.
Very true. Very true. All right, man. Well, I love that choice. So for me, my number 7 choice is Black Bolt. This guy is created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. First appeared in Fantastic Four number 45 back in December 1965. He's the leader of the Inhumans. And the Inhumans are like a race of genetically altered superhumans. I believe they live on the moon. They're one of the more another team that's been around and everybody knows about them. They definitely... not to kind of, I can go into deep dives about a lot of different things, but definitely got pushed more to the forefront when Marvel Comics didn't own the movie rights to X-Men. So they kind of wanted to kind of push the Inhumans to make them their X-Men, and they were even doing that in the movie side. But now they have the X-Men back. There was a huge push on the Inhumans for a while. But anyway, back to Black Bolt. His signature power is his voice. Anytime he talks, basically, he creates this really destructible shockwave that's capable of leveling cities. I mean, so due to the danger of his power, he's really undergone all this extreme mental training and all of stuff to prevent himself from even uttering any sound at all, even in his sleep. So he's always, usually remaining completely silent, speaking through sign language or like via some type of spokesperson or something like that. Again, definitely known for being in the Inhumans, but he's also been known to be in the Illuminati, which for you guys don't know, it's that kind of the dark, shadowy cabal of superhumans that kind of really run things, from the shadows. Yeah, so he's been some great stories. What is it, like Reed Richards and Iron Man and those guys, Doctor Strange, Professor X. I think they make up the Illuminati, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Captain Britain was in it for a brief time as well. So
oh, and Namor too, I think. So no, he's Black Bolt's an interesting character again because without being able to speak, you've got to really kind of be able to kind of pay attention to him. And then I think most of the artists and writers have done a great job. It's a hard job to write a character that doesn't have the dialogue. You know what I mean? But they did a great job of conveying what he's feeling. But with his the Terrigen-based or his Terrigen mutated physique, it really actually makes him even stronger than typical Inhumans. His strength, stamina, durability, and reflexes are well above even the typical Inhuman or human levels. Speed and agility is also enhanced, and again possesses superhuman senses as well. Again, as I mentioned a little bit ago, he kind of they were pushing him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For better or for worse, he did make his live-action debut in the 2017 television series Inhumans. He was portrayed by Anson Mount. The less said about that show, the better. Anyway, I would imagine there'll be a reboot coming up sooner rather than later. But anyway, man, that's my number 7, Black Bolt.
No, it's cool. He's the best way to kind of explain him if you're a DC fan is he's Black Canary on steroids, basically. Like that shockwave that Black Canary gives out, that's basically him, but instead of just wiping you out, it wipes everything out. So very, very cool character. And that's hopefully he gets another chance to shine because, like you said, that TV show is just god awful. But on number 6, this guy was a creation of the GOAT himself, Stan Lee, in Fantastic Four, number 66. He was originally known as him or Adam, but you guys know him by his first appearance, which is in 1972. That is Adam Warlock. This guy is mega powerful. Like, he is crazy. There's some rumors that he might appear here in the MCU here, maybe soon. Been some reports, maybe even Christian Bale being Adam Warlock. So we'll see about that. Adam Warlock, he stems from being in Guardians of the Galaxy as well as the Infinity Watch. He basically has quantum magic, which separates the Soul Stone, so he can actually like resurrect himself and others. So he's pretty much unbeatable. He has super strength, speed, agility, durability, flight, energy manipulation, absorption, matter manipulation. He's expert in magic. At one point, this dude was so strong that he actually wielded the Infinity Gauntlet. So that Thanos Gauntlet, at one point, Adam Warlock did wield it. The backstory on that is in Infinity Gauntlet number 6, he basically transferred himself into the Soul Stone and basically blocked Nebula from being able to control any of the other Infinity Stones, won it over, and then for a brief time held on to the Infinity Gauntlet. So anybody, you saw what it did to poor Iron Man and what it did to Hulk. So anybody who has the power to wield that thing obviously is super powerful. And like I said, he's really cool. He really has a backstory with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We've seen him interlock with Doctor Strange, with the Avengers before in the comics as well. And it's really kind of shocking that this guy hasn't been in the movies just yet or had a bigger presence, because he is so Omega powerful, and he's actually been quite popular since his debut. It's kind of interesting for a character that within 5 years kind of changed his origin and his name from him and Adam to Adam Warlock. But he's a really cool looking character. He's definitely worth checking out, and he has a lot of different backstories interchanging with different teams and different characters. And he's kind of the ones on the fence where if he went over to the wrong side, he would be a deadly bad guy, with his being able to control everything. So definitely worthy of being on the list, and that is why he is number 6 here on Heroes Check Out.
All right, dude. Very cool choice. Honestly, I have nothing to add about Adam Warlock.
That's okay.
Because I really, out of all the characters we've done up to date so far, that's probably the one I know the least about, least amount about. But I do think that wasn't he referenced, or that he was shown in that crystal in Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Wasn't that supposed to be him that was like hatching or something like that?
Possibly.
That's what the rumor
been,
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know, but to your point, I've definitely heard a lot about this guy, and for him to be so popular, for shame. Anyway, I need to thank you for giving me a little update on that guy, dude. Very
there
cool.
You go.
So we're moving into number 5 now, and this one is Spider-Woman. We're talking about Jessica Drew. She first appeared in Marvel Spotlight in February 1977. Interestingly enough, she was really just created just for like establishing a trademark for Marvel, really. But it was, like I said, originally intended as a one-off, but she was hugely popular, and it sold unexpectedly well. So they asked Marv Wolfman, who we all should know from Teen Titans fame, right? He was one of the guys who really blasted those guys off in the 80s, to take the character into an ongoing series. At the conclusion, I think it ran about 50 issues. At the conclusion, she was killed. But as you know, death means nothing in comics unless you are Uncle Ben, my friend. And then there is no hope for a rescue. But yeah, so she had a good run in her solo series. I actually remember, this was a long time ago, she had a Saturday morning cartoon that ran concurrently, but when as the series, but when that was canceled, the cartoon was canceled as well. She appeared a few times in guest appearances, but really, most notably in 1988, she had a supporting role in Wolverine, where she really appeared in his first 16 issues, and then after that, she eventually fell by the wayside. But she came roaring back with a vengeance in January 2005 in the New Avengers, and has been prominently featured in the Marvel Universe really since then. A little bit about her backstory is she was a young child. She became really ill. She was exposed to uranium. Of course, we know that's not good for you. So in order to save her life, her dad injected her with some experimental serum based on irradiated spider's blood, I believe. When she emerged, she was 17 years old and had incredible powers. She had wall crawling, superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, reflexes, flexibility, hearing, super hearing, all of that. Immune to all kinds of drugs, toxins, She can shoot venom blasts from her hands. She can basically regenerate. Her healing factor allows her to do so. She's also a superb hand-to-hand combatant fighter, trained in several styles like boxing, judo, karate. Taskmaster actually trained her. She's also been trained in fencing, all kinds of other weapons. She's also had some runs in Hydra, where she was basically undercover. She was later on in Shield, of course, Sword. So she's got, she's been around a lot. You know what I mean? So she's got, based on the spy stuff, she's also good with stealth, espionage, information gathering. Again, being a superb athlete. Been affiliated with Shield, Sword, and the Avengers, as I said. But she's a really cool character. I like her a lot. There's been lots of rumors now that she's going to make her live action debut very soon, probably either within the Spider-Man universe. There's a whole nother show we could do all together. Yeah. But, Sony's got the Spider universe, so I think that she's going to make her appearance there, unfortunately, first, rather than the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But she'd be a great asset to that as well. But all that being said, I just can't wait to see her. She's been a favorite character of mine for a while. I like her.
Yeah, she's extremely powerful. I think what's kind of crazy is, to me, I prefer Spider-Woman over Spider-Gwen, but the Spider-Gwen seems to be the more popular right now, especially everywhere you go, you see Spider-Gwen stuff, but not as much Spider-Woman, which is interesting because I prefer Spider-Woman actually to Spider-Gwen. I don't know if it's just because it's maybe a more known character, but it'll be interesting which one they go with, in that female spider creature kind of. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I think Spider-Gwen might be they'll go first because she's been more of a love interest for Peter or Miles or whoever you want to hire.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think that's probably how they'll go. Jessica has really never been like her and Peter really been that, in that type of relationship.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But moving on to number 4, this one is one of my personal favorites. This is Beta Ray Bill. He came in the Mighty Thor number 337 in 1983. He's very similar to Thor. Basically, what happened with him is oh man, I don't even know how to start this. He was created when science basically transferred a life force into a bioengineered beast with enhanced abilities. He's a Corbinite from the planet Corbin. Basically, when he was created, Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. sent Thor to kind of investigate what was going on. Beta Ray Bill was kind of brought to life, and at the time Thor sees this beast, and he's like, I am mighty. I got to take this guy out. Beta Ray Bill actually bested Thor, if that doesn't show how powerful he is. But he actually showed him where he had the opportunity to kill him, and he didn't. And by doing so, Odin noticed this and figured he was worthy. So he gave him a lot of the same powers of Thor. And not only that, he gave him the powerful weapon of Stormbreaker. So the Stormbreaker you see that was used in Infinity War and Endgame is actually Beta Ray Bill's weapon. Made for Beta Ray Bill. They used it a little differently, obviously, in the Infinity Saga, but really, really cool. I mean, obviously with Stormbreaker, he's able to shoot the lightning and have the weather manipulation. He has super strength, speed, durability, electricity, all that good stuff. He's also fought with Omega Flight, the Star Masters, the Thor Corps, and the only one I know is the Guardians of the Galaxy. Those other three, I have no idea who those people are. But this is a really cool character. I think he's one that when they announced the new Thor movie, I think a lot of people were really hoping that Beta Ray Bill would make an appearance in it. It seems like they're going the Jane Foster route, which is cool. But I would have personally liked to see Beta Ray Bill because, like I said, he's basically Thor mixed with this big wolf beast looking creature. He's got all the powers of Thor. And like I said, when they've gone toe to toe, actually Beta Ray Bill has bested him a lot of times. So really cool backstory. And it would be kind of interesting even to bring in like the Corbinite race and kind of figure out what happened to that planet when it was decimated. So Beta Ray Bill is number 4 and a very cool character to check out.
Yeah, dude, I like him too. I really enjoyed the shout out he did get, at least in Ragnarok, where his face was part of the statues, based on the Game Masters. Big there. Yeah. So they at least gave him the shout out because I think he was the one who fought Hulk in what that was kind of based off of Planet Hulk or in Planet Hulk there. So I guess they couldn't, to your point, they didn't use them. So basically, a little shout out there.
Yeah, between the Gladiator match and Stormbreaker, they like stole Beta Ray Bill's all his big moments of shine, man. I'm like, come on. And I'm not sure, but in some he actually doesn't have eyes. like in the comics, it's just like kind of skin. There's not really eyes there. He's now got like white eyes, but at one point he actually didn't have eyes. So
wow. Oh, Marvel when they're crazy characters. All right, cool. All right, well, no, awesome choice for number 4. For me, number 3 is Angel. Yes, one of the original X-Men, of course, one of the first 5, appeared in X-Men number 1 in 1963. Definitely, like I said, the first 5, along with Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, and Beast. This guy was born with hollow bones, feathered wings. He's been part of our X-Men, or part of the X-Men, X-Factor champions and defenders. While with X-Factor, he was attacked, and his wings had to be amputated. Being very depressed, of course, he tried to kill himself, was actually saved by Apocalypse. While he did save him, wasn't for, just to be a kind guy. He actually did it so he could brainwash him and turn him into one of his 4 horsemen known as Death. So, of course, with his wings being amputated, he actually grafted techno-organic wings, which enabled him to fly higher and faster. Also gave him razor-sharp feathers that could be thrown as blades. After shaking the brainwash, of course, he did revert back to the side of good. And while he was doing that, he actually discovered that he had the ability to turn his wings back and forth from feathered to the techno-organic wings. This guy's been in all the animated cartoons. I think there's been 3 solid runs of X-Men cartoons. He's been featured in all of them, as well as in live action in X-Men Apocalypse and X3. All that being said, I really can't wait. They haven't really used him. I mean, this guy to me deserves a lot more respect in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I mean, being one of the first 5 X-Men. And even the comics, I feel like they really didn't know what to do with Angel. When they rebooted the new X-Men and they brought in Storm and Wolverine and everybody and Nightcrawler and integrated them into the classic team. They didn't have Angel in that. He was always kind of floating around on the outside with being in the champions, as I mentioned, or defenders. And those teams weren't really huge teams. You know what I mean? Not really until X Factor. And then I think when he became Archangel, did he become more of an interesting character that writers were able to kind of grasp onto and make him more interesting to the general public as well. But all that being said, man, I can't really wait to this. I really am excited for him to get his live action debut, and done it with justice, besides these other 2 offshoots we've had.
Yeah, no, I was a big fan of Archangel, especially. He's just really, really cool. I mean, to your point, I think he's been very underutilized, being that he's an OG X-Men. And for those, X-Men was literally Marvel's golden property at the time when Angel wasn't as prominent. So it's really a shame that he kind of got pushed to the back burners. But very cool character. To your point, I think it was due to they just didn't know what to do with him. And then, the popularity of like Wolverine took off and he just kind of fell by the wayside. But I think Kevin Feige and the Marvel guys will do him justice and bring him back. It'll be interesting whether they go just Angel or Archangel, because they're both very cool in their own respective rights.
It would be cool for story. I mean, just for me and being a purist, as I often am when they do it. I like to see Angel get some prominence, you know what I mean, in a movie or 2. And then, of course, give him that storyline, which is a great storyline, the Fall of the Mutants, when, he gets his wings amputated and then has to go into and becomes Archangel. I mean, it's a pretty dark storyline. And you really do care for Warren at that point. Before that, he was just a carefree playboy. And like I said, just didn't know. And when they gave him that angst as Archangel, that his character really took off, in my opinion.
I'm with you, dude. So moving on to number 2, this is my final one. This is my favorite choice of the list. And this is the show on Disney Plus above all the cool Marvel stuff that are coming out that I am looking forward to the most. I am talking about the guy who made his first appearance in Werewolf by Night, number 32 in 1975, Moon Knight. Why should you like Moon Knight? He's basically Marvel's Batman. This guy is very dark. He is very gritty. Very interesting character. He's been in the Avengers, Secret Avengers, Defenders, Marvel Knights. His power is really justified by the solace of the moon. So when the moon is full, you're catching a very bad version of Moon Knight. This dude is super powerful. As the moon kind of gets down towards the new moon, he's still extremely powerful, but not quite as powerful. But this guy is an expert detective. He's a master in martial arts. He uses high-tech equipment. Sound a lot like Batman. He has increased strength and speed. Basically, his weapons are, he throws darts. He has a big bow staff and a truncheon. He's so powerful, Taskmaster actually prefers not to copy Moon Knight. He is known to actually, he would prefer to take punches than block them, because he is just kind of nuts and likes blood and likes getting gritty and basically gets pissed off and he just wrecks havoc, man. This guy, it's funny. He is the most DC Marvel character I think that they have. I mean, besides maybe Wolverine, this dude is a badass, and I cannot wait to see him at Disney Plus. I hope they push it as far as they can, almost like a Logan feel where he is just taking names because he is an extremely cool guy. One of the coolest looking characters too, by the way. If you haven't seen pictures of this guy, he is a real big badass and somebody I really can't wait to see on Disney Plus. So of all the characters that I have brought, this is the one I would recommend you check out the most. And Moon Knight, number 2.
Hot, very cool, dude. It's funny you actually say that to you. Moon Knight is the most DC-like character that Marvel has because and you compare him to Batman, and Batman is always said to be the most Marvel-like character that DC has.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's kind of interesting that they're compared in that way.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool, though. Another one who I need to do a little bit of research on, and I do know that there's been rumors that, oh my gosh, Daniel. Keanu. I've heard it too. I heard Keanu, but I've also heard what's his name? Oh my gosh, Harry
Daniel
Potter.
Craig.
No.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes, as Moon Knight. Yeah. Ooh. So that would be kind of interesting. I know he's been being pushed to be a variety of different characters. Wolverine actually being one of them.
Because he's short. He's only like 5'5". So I mean, you got to put on a lot of weight. But I would be down. I've seen pictures of him as Wolverine. It's funny. He's like one of those guys where he's been this huge franchise. He hasn't really done the big franchise thing since. So I know he's a big comic guy, though. I think he would. Yeah. I think he would do it if you got asked.
Yeah, I think so too, dude. I do. I think he's trying to make his debut into the superhero world.
Yeah.
And Marvel better snatch him up. But all right, so we are now on number 1, and as Jake alluded to, that some of these characters might be making an appearance soon. And as he mentioned, Moon Knight, right? This guy's definitely getting his live action debut.
Oh yeah.
Probably in who knows what's going on with COVID right now, but it's supposed to be within a year's time. We're going to see this guy ShangChi. He was created by Steve Englehart and artist Jim Starlin. First appeared in Special Marvel Edition number 15 in December of 1973. It's interesting because Marvel had originally wanted to acquire the rights to a show that was hugely popular back in the 70s. It was called Kung Fu. They wanted to adapt that. But they were denied permission by the show's owner, Warner Brothers, Warner Communications, who of course who owns DC Comics. Right. So instead, what Marvel did is actually acquired the comic book rights to this guy named to a pulp villain named Dr. Fu Manchu, and made ShangChi his son. So Fu Manchu actually intended to raise ShangChi to become a deadly assassin. Once ShangChi found out what his dad's true intentions were, he was like, no, that's not happening. I'm going to use my, powers for good. He became a force for good. He was trained in a variety of fighting styles. He's a master martial artist, skilled gymnast, and marksman, really proficient with all weapons. He doesn't have superhuman strength, but he can also use his chi to temporarily increase his strength. And he's been known to actually beat other superhuman opponents out there. Even the Greek god of Ares acknowledged him as being one of the few mortals who could actually hold their own against a god, even without the use of magic. So that's saying something,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, as I alluded to, much of his physical abilities seem to stem from his master of chi. He's actually shown that he can dodge bullets from machine guns and sniper rifles. He's able to deflect gunshots with his bracelets. He's able to actually, again, highly trained in the concentration, or in the arts of concentration and meditation, and an expert in various hand weapons, including swords, staves, nunchucks, and shuriken. Some of ShangChi's most prominent students have been Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Domino.
Yep.
So as I said before, this guy's definitely got a live-action film coming out. It's scheduled to be released in the United States May 2021 as part of Phase 4 of the MCU. And between you and I, like I said before, people might be asking, why are we putting somebody who's getting his own live-action film out there? But I'll tell you why, because I think this is Phase 4. This is going to be a lot for Marvel.
Yeah.
This is going to be their true testing point, because even though ShangChi's getting his own movie, I think this is one of the, Black Widow didn't get hers, but she's supposed to get hers now. But I think this is one of the probably I don't know, maybe even lesser known than. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Guardians of the maybe lesser known than Guardians of the Galaxy, even. You know what I mean? So
I
this
didn't know about him until they were at least they were going to make a movie.
Yeah, I mean, I do recall back in the day seeing some comics. Like I said, he was hugely martial arts was huge in the 70s and 80s. Like I said, they were trying to pattern this up to that show. So he had a huge run. But then actually, I think he disappeared for a number of years, at least when I was reading comics. You know what I mean? I was aware of him peripherally, but he was never in any of the main stories. But I think definitely in the past few years, there's been more of a push to get him into the main line, into the mainstream, in the comics world, obviously, to get more attention for his film that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm really glad we're talking about ShangChi. It's funny because, like I said, I didn't know anything about him, but in researching him, this is actually one of the solo Marvel movies I'm most looking forward to of all the solos that they've ever put out. I'm really excited to see what they do with him. Basically, in research, he is listed by Marvel as their number one best hand-to-hand combatant. He is the best fighter in Marvel, according to Marvel. So that is showing you basically, I know it sounds crazy, but like his mix up, the best way I can say, he is Bruce Lee meets Batman meets Wonder Woman. Like he's kind of got a little bit of a blend of all three. And it's going to be really cool when your superpower is literally your hand-to-hand combatant skills. That is going to be epic. And I'm really excited to see the backstory, especially with his dad. I think that's going to be one of the more interesting solo origin stories. I think it's going to be done really, really well. Not to mention, I really hope they, do a lot of kind of that samurai older feel to it. I think they could really have a cool world set up too with which is cool. Cause we've gotten like New York and Avengers Tower. This will be, I think, completely different. And to your point, it's going to be Marvel's big testing point, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be okay. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they pan out. But that is a fantastic choice, and those are our 10 heroes, guys. We're glad that we were able to break these characters down. Let us know what you guys think. If you have any questions about these characters, please ask. There are so many more characters that are worthy of being on this list, but those are the 10 that we chose, and I'm sure we'll dive more into these guys as time goes. As always, hit that subscribe button. Check out our website, www.comiccollectorsguild.com. We have some very exciting episodes to come. I think we have a few interviews coming up, of our first on-site interview, and then our next show, as far as on here, we're going to be breaking down the top 6 Batman stories in the comics. So that is going to be really, really fun to break down the Dark Knight a little bit. It's been a while, actually, since we talked about Batman. I think he's so popular. We were like, we'll talk about some other stuff, but we're going to talk about Batman and the top stories you should check out. So we're really excited to talk about that. We appreciate your time as always. Lee, you are the man. Thank you for coming in with that book of knowledge on these heroes, and appreciate it, sir.
All right, man. I've had a great time as always, my friend. You take care.
All right, guys. Keep hunting. Quite a bit in the comics, and there was a run where the Avengers had to go overseas, and in the UK they were in London, and Captain Britain joined the force. So